All right, we are back for the second round of or the second game of our best of two. It is going to be on bank, and after that first match, Ohio State looking pretty dominant there. Honestly, on Oregon 7-2 was the final score if you missed it, and yeah,
Starting right up with the band phases, of course. Going to see definitely different bands here on bank versus that Oregon map. Two completely different maps, much larger here on bank. Going to be interesting. Maybe not see as much Monty from Ohio State. So
yeah, for sure. Gonna be interested to see how the bands change because I think that Thatcher band from Ohio State last map was very crucial to the way that they had to play it. And it really, I think, kind of caused a lot of problems for that Syracuse attacking side where they just couldn't get as many rounds as they needed to, and they kind of stifled a lot on the offensive side. But gonna see that Glass band first. I think the Glass Capital combo that both of these teams have been running has been pretty effective, or even the Glass is not smoke. It's just been really strong in pushing people off of their corners. Going to see the Jackal Man again from Ohio State sticking with that same band, kind of allowing them to roam on the defensive side and just really opening up the map a little bit more. Like you said, bank a bigger map and a lot more rotation, so that Jackal going to allow the roamers to kind of fully utilize.
yeah, and of course with the bigger map, Glass is a lot more powerful. So it's not surprising that they'd ban him here. And of course, you know, going to see Mira here, and then it's going to be interesting to actually see what their second fenders.
Yeah, the mirror band, I think it's pretty strong on a couple of the sites, honestly. I mean, that downstairs locker room hold and the main floor hold, even the open area and the archive site are both pretty strong for the Mira. So I think it's not a strong band of Ohio State, just making sure that they can't anchor down. But the Echo band from Syracuse, I don't think either of the teams really utilized the Echo to this full potential last round.
Yeah, I really didn't see any hits of the Yokai drone, even though it seemed like Echo made it in about half the rounds. So, I mean, it's decent band there. Of course, this is a map where Echo has a lot of range and it's harder to find the drone, but kind of an interesting thing to ban there.
Yeah, I mean, harder to find the drone and harder to just a lot of places he can hide on some of these sites. I mean, that basement site is notorious for him being able to post up in many of the different areas and just kind of deny plants and be useful on the drones. But yeah, I mean, both of them picking it last map, but not really either of them utilizing it. We'll see how it plays out. Ohio State going to be on the attacking side first. Going to go with a pretty standard attack here with that Montane again. Going to immediately bring the Thatcher back out too. You're going to 6-pick onto the Ying. So I'll be interested for sure to see how they utilize that Ying on this push. And it's going to be an upstairs hold here from Syracuse. So a very interesting approach here, considering I think you talk to anybody in the game, and that downstairs basement hold is just so strong from the attacker side a lot of times if you play it right.
Yeah, and I mean, a kind of interesting pick there. That Ying and the Capita together probably could help to make vision a little more difficult for the defenders. So going to be interesting, yeah, how they use that. Of course, for some reason, Vigil's already down to half.
Yeah. Vigil, somehow taking damage. I'm guessing he got shot by a teammate when they were trying to shoot a drone or something like that. But with no doc, they're going to probably just have to resend him and get him back up to 50 and hope that low health doesn't really fault him too much. But I think that Ying pick going to be interesting to see. Ohio State can really probably take advantage of it here outside windows, and open them up and just kind of lob those Ying grenades in, and really blind a lot of that Syracuse team that's going to be anchoring.
Yeah, and I mean, it is unfortunate that he does take that damage. As a generally, you want that health. You need to be able to be on your own. It's going to be a little more difficult for Chachi here.
Yeah,
kind of interesting push here. Cal's already down.
Yeah, gonna push out onto that balcony side. A relatively standard approach here, but still, normally you sometimes see them either pushing the balcony side or either push up those back stairs. And Ohio State's going to clear probably both of them in one swoop. But yeah, like you said, that Vigil not having a lot of health is going to be a real detriment. You get into a lot of trade fights, and I mean, a game like this, you tend to take a lot of damage just in a trade when you're fighting. Ubi going to push up those skylight stairs, and going to get a little bit of pressure with Chemical, actually. So those two going to be playing as a pair. Going to probably look for this Vigil here in the cafeteria area. But, yeah, they're going to find him. And that's just unfortunate. I mean, Ubi doesn't hit the headshot. And, I mean, you got to think two shots with that pistol from and he's dead. And you would have liked to see him have a little bit more and actually have a chance to defend himself. Gray is gonna get a push here onto this balcony side. Montaigne already has that upstairs control in this hall. Gonna get stifled a little bit by this castle, but I mean, there's so many windows on this side that you can just pick another way to go. Probably go that way. Honestly.
Yeah, and he's checking everything behind him, and of course now that he knows that he's alone here, and it's just him in a castle. It's going to be an interesting push. Don't have any hard breachers, so they're going to have to find another way in.
Yeah. Gonna just melee this door. Cal gonna get a pick onto Shrimp. And, yeah, Ohio State gonna go for a little bit of a two-pronged approach here with this back skylight stair pressure. Gonna get that wall opened up by Cal, and, yeah, that's probably where they got the pick from. With all these anchors, Syracuse is really gonna be stuck here. Chemical knows that he's laying down, does get the pick onto Valued, and now that they've got both of those sites open, there's really going to be a strong pinch here from Ohio State, pushing on those backstairs. Crab is actually going to get a frag onto Daddy, and SA is going to immediately refrag him back. So he's going to get the final kill too. And I mean, a real methodical and strong approach there from Ohio State.
Yeah, and I mean, great kills there at the end by SA, of course. Every player really contributed there, whether it was Monty on the, on the intel or, Chemical on the fragging. It went pretty well for Ohio State there.
Yeah, once they got that pick onto the vigil and they were able to pinch them, all those anchors on the site, they were really able to just kind of make sure that round they had no chance to defend themselves. I mean, there's so many angles you're getting looked at from. There's no real way to defend yourself with a lot of that cover on that site being able to be shot through, and you're just kind of dead in the water.
Yeah, and it's going to see the same strat. So, I mean, Ohio State's feeling comfortable, feel like they've got something going that they can keep going, and they're going to keep it here. Of course, on the other side, pretty similar as well. Of course, the Jaeger's coming in with the Bandits, so going to see some interesting locker play here.
Yeah, gonna move down onto that locker side. I think they realized that maybe that second floor side was enough for them, just with how cleanly Ohio State approached that. And gonna six pick onto the Maestro, so a little bit of denial here, especially on that CCTV room. It's pretty useful if you can kind of just tag somebody up and then get a little bit of pressure with the Maestro. Ohio State sticking with the same exact approach here with that Thatcher and the Ying and the Montaigne. And I will be interested to see how Syracuse defends this. I mean, this site is very strong to defend. That mirror band's going to make it a little bit more difficult, obviously. But still, with the Maestro and all the utility you can have, I'm surprised they don't have a smoke, considering you can deny so many plants with that smoke and that Maestro combo. And yeah, going to have to see if they can get the utility out of the Bandit. Because, I mean, honestly, a lot of the pressure that Ohio State's going to be putting on them is either going to likely be from that server side or is going to be from above, where, honestly, that Bandit just isn't that useful.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, here Ohio State's expecting they're expecting a pulse, and what they're going to get is an anchor. They're going to get this, this kind of person that generally plays on site, and this could end up playing pretty well for Syracuse. I guess we'll have to see how Ubi feels about it and when he comes in with Chemical.
Crab going to take a 25 health of damage from his own C4 as he opened up that wall. And I mean, that's just another real unfortunate mistake. Ubi going to get down, though, by Tickup. A little, maybe the poor drone work there from Ohio State as Tickup is sitting behind those servers and just kind of catches Ubi off guard. Chemical going to push on him, and it's going to also get picked off by Tickup. So just kind of running into him. He's going to get a third here, too, now. This is a big round for Tickup, just being able to kind of hold that server side. Cal's going to get a frag onto Shrimp. And, I mean, still, he's going to get immediately refragged by Crab, and it's now a 1v4 array. And, I mean, you got to kind of scratch your head there from Ohio State side. I mean, they should have known that somebody was sitting behind those servers. Kind of ran in one by one. SA is going to get a pick onto Crab in that archives area. Probably going to get called out from Cal, honestly. And, yeah. I mean, it's a 1-on-3. It's still a minute and 40 seconds left, so he's got plenty of time to work with here, honestly. But, I mean, Ohio State just running in just kind of to the slaughter, one by one, and just getting picked off by T.
Yeah, and I mean, really, he doesn't have many options here. I mean, he doesn't have a hard pitcher, so he either has to push these stairs or find another way in. And, it looks like he is just going to put down the Claymore, see if he can go the other way. But really, not the best situation, not what you hope.
And Syracuse is going to have a little bit more information here from this Legion. I'm sure he's got traps everywhere, and just going to be able to make this push even harder from SA. But he's going to push down this main stairway. He's going to be kind of stifled by a little bit of barbed wire here, but that's going to make them hear him coming. Maestro does know he's coming this way, but he wins the gunfight eventually. Gray, had he hit those shots, we would have set himself in actually a pretty good position, but Maestro just getting that repeat and being a little aggressive and around there decided Syracuse.
Yeah, and I mean, a 1v3 with Capital is a pretty difficult push. Your 3-speed's not really going to help you, and you have to be methodical. So, kind of an interesting, round there. But we're going to see, switch back to like an executive lounge second floor push and back to some of the same stuff we saw in the first round.
Syracuse really, I think, kind of pushing their luck here with this second floor push again. I didn't like the way that they approached that first round, and I will be interested to see if they switch it up again because honestly, I think that the way that they approached that first round with the 4 anchors and how many sight lines there are really on that site, it's just so hard to hold, and you need to play more progressive. They are going to switch up the style here a little bit. Going to go with the mute and the maestro instead of illusion. And I like this a little bit more, but I still am not a huge fan of this site, honestly. But Ohio State going to go onto the Ash and the Buck. Going to keep that Ying, Thatcher, Thermite. So going to look for a little bit more aggression out of Ubi, kind of like he was in that last map on the Twitch. And we will see if Ohio State can kind of replicate what they had on that first round. If the changes from Syracuse can net them another round win here.
Yeah, and of course, a smart switch there by Ubi. He's on that Ash now. Of course, they're going to be expecting what they've been getting every round. And they have 2 soft breachers now. So the castle's not as important as it was. And it's going to be interesting, even if it seems like to Syracuse that Ohio State can't push from somewhere. They can be right there in seconds.
Yeah, that Ash is really going to be able to exert a lot of pressure onto some of these sight lines that maybe Syracuse was expecting to take a little bit more time on because of that castle. But, yeah. A lot of this floor, though, here is soft from above, and it's usually utilized on the reverse end on the defender side playing into archives where you kind of pressure people from above, but now that Buck taken from Ohio State is going to be able to maybe push a couple of Syracuse players off of those corners that they might be holding on the site. Gonna go for that similar defense, though, where they have those 4 anchors in the solo roamer, and kind of leaving Crab out to dry here, honestly. I think it's going to be Crab, though, roaming instead of that. And, Chachik, if I remember right. But, yeah.
That dock going to be able to hear the castle there. Of course, glad they have the dock now. They took some damage early in the first round and the second. So, definitely going to help out a lot here.
Yeah. Ubi going to get a pick onto Value. And I'm not sure where that was from. I think that might have been a shot from that main area through one of those windows, and it looks like it was. Yeah, that's a heck of a shot by Ubi. And gonna open up the round here again from Ohio State. I mean, it is the mute, so gonna probably have most of his utility already down, but they're gonna be able to be aggressive here now onto these castles and make sure that they can push the advantage that they've netted themselves already. Minute and 40 seconds left in the round. Ohio State going to need to be a little aggressive here, but already have one of those walls opened up into that back site. So Shrimp going to have to kind of play 2 angles here now and is going to be a little vulnerable on this death side.
Yeah, and they really are taking their time here. They're making the drones happen and kind of interesting. I mean, you expect them to really be pushed for time here, but they're going to be patient and wait.
Yeah, One Daddy going to be holding that main hallway, and Ubi gonna get a little bit of damage onto the Maestro and is gonna not get the kill. Chemical is gonna get a frag onto the Roamer Crab, and Chachi's gonna be probably called out here, but he's got a really great angle here onto Chemical. And Chemical gonna utilize that Ying that he's got, gonna force him off of that angle and be able to aggress. SA is gonna get the kill from below, really utilizing the Buck and the strength of these soft floors. And Chemical's gonna push up, gonna get a kill onto the already damaged Chachi. And it's going to be a 4-on-1 here for Ohio State. Another kind of methodical approach, a little bit slower, going to be a little bit of friendly damage from One Daddy there. But I think they have kind of figured out where he's at, and they're just going to take their finish off the round here. They know now he's in that select Cal after they're hearing his shots. They're going to pinch onto him and really finish off this round here. Chemical is going to get down, but Cal's going to get the dragon. A little bit more of a slower approach there from Ohio State, but still, as the cards started to fall, they really cleaned up Syracuse and kind of won
Yeah, and we saw some great pinches like that last week. Of course, Ohio State's good at getting on the comms, planning those, making sure both players know when it's going to happen. Of course, it's unfortunate that they lose a player there. They lose chemical, but having it cleaned up by Cal is it's an easy win to.
For sure. And it looks like Syracuse is going to go onto that archives floor. So I think on this map, that's usually the second standard site. And since they can't go back down to lockers yet, they're going to definitely try to switch it up because, I mean, both times they've gone to that second floor, it has looked really a mess for Syracuse. And they've kind of gotten punished, not even for their bad defensive plays, more just for the inadequacies that site holds to soft floor and all the angles that it has. So going to hope that they can find a little bit more success here on this archives hold.
But, and no surprise on the switch there to Maestro, of course, faking that Valkyrie, but Ohio State might even be expecting that they'll go back to that Maestro. Of course, they haven't really gotten any utility out of it just yet, though they were able to get the spots.
Yeah, for sure. And, I mean, Ohio State's sticking with that kind of tried and true, going on to the IQ instead of the buck this time, but that same core for the attacker side. Going to have the Frost this time from Syracuse. Can be a little bit cheeky on some of those corners with the angles that you have to hold to push into this site can really utilize the lack of time that you can sometimes have when pushing this site and how many different angles you need to check. So we'll be looking to see hopefully him getting a little bit of utility out of that pick. But overall, pretty standard setup here from the side of Syracuse with the Maestro and the Bandit. Gonna hold those two main walls from open area and from the main entrance. And gonna be hoping to see a little bit of a strong defense here out of Syracuse. Ohio State going with the pretty standard push. Now you're gonna get picked up. Are gonna get picked onto Cal, and an early advantage here for Syracuse.
Yeah, a great peak there. Of course, nobody on Ohio State was expecting that. And, really able to capitalize. This sets up Syracuse very well, and of course, unlike the other rounds, nobody's taken damage so far. So, going to be a pretty tough push here for Ohio State.
Syracuse, yeah, on the round that they won, and potentially on this round again, they've kind of taken advantage of the lack of fully droning that Ohio State's kind of done. They haven't really been able to kind of utilize all their drones, clear all the spots that they really should. And has resulted in 2 early kills from 2 of these rounds for Syracuse, but we will have to see if Syracuse can pressure the advantage that they've had, like they did in that one round that they won in the locker room. But Ohio State taking their time here, a minute. Chemical going to be pushing up these back stairs, and One Daddy going to be pushing from above him onto this backside of the site. And Ubi, it looks like, is already there with Cal. So Ohio State already got a lot of pressure here now onto this backside of this site. And Teacup is from that left side corner. Going to get a kill onto Chemical. 55. Going to just miss whoever was shooting at him. And now Ubi knows that there's somebody in that corner. And he's going to have to kind of play safe here. He knows he's kind of pinched off. Going to throw in a couple of flashbangs to hopefully aid his push here. And going to get a kill. One Daddy is going to kill Crab, but going to get a refrag onto Ubi, and Gray is going to kill onto Value. So,
really, just not what you want to see there for Ohio State, but of course, a great play by Syracuse. Really, just holding their angles, making sure they're sticking to their fundamentals. They had no other way to get in there, and they had to clear the barbed wire either way. So, not what you look for Ohio State, but certainly not anything surprising there.
Yeah, and with Ohio State, they are going to try to get a little bit of utility out of this IQ on the top floor. One Daddy's going to get another pick from above here in that soft floor that I kind of mentioned the last round. Really playing, again, into the advantageous side of Ohio State. So, yeah.
Going to see a similar push here because he knows he's cleared out one of them. And, of course, he was told by his teammates that there is 2 there. So, going to be interesting whether he can make this happen.
Yeah. Ohio State really
unfortunate there on the.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, One Daddy had to push there. Doesn't have a lot of time, and honestly, gonna get the down onto Teacup, but he's got to get that diffuser now, and he's not gonna get the plant down, and that's gonna be the Ohio State. So, kind of disjointed attack there from Ohio State. Honestly, One Daddy pushing in, getting picked, and then leaving it all up to the last attacker, and it's just I don't know. Ohio State kind of probably could have played that one a little bit better, a little bit together, but at the same time, a little bit of a messy round on both sides. It ends up going for Syracuse. So those early picks really benefiting Syracuse again on that round, as they were able to set themselves up in a main advantage and hold on to that site to the last seconds.
Yeah, and I mean, a pretty great round there from Syracuse. The early pick, making sure they were able to keep going in, kind of interest. And they're going to head back down to CCTV room. Not too much of a surprise there. They had some success site, but playing pretty well, of course. Teacup sitting on top with 5 kills.
Yeah, strong game out of Teacup with the 2 entry kills on that first time they played Lockers and 2 more kills last round. And it's just been really impressive for some of these defenses from they've really kind of played into the weaknesses of Ohio State. They've forced them to kind of be more methodical on the drones and taken up a lot of Ohio State's time. And Ohio State has also lost players just from the fact that they haven't droned as well as they could have. I mean, that first round on Lockers was almost inexcusable. You lose 3 people in a matter of 20 seconds and kind of really set yourself up in a really strong disadvantage for their side. But we'll see if they can kind of rectify that on this second attempt here. So looks like they're going to be running basically the same set of ops again. Nothing too crazy. And again, the same thing for Syracuse. I mean, you can't blame it. First time it worked out. It wasn't broken, so why fix it?
Exactly, and going to see pretty similar strat here. Of course, they're going to get all the hatches, but looks like they're going to keep mostly runners, maybe, mostly anchors, maybe 1 or 2 runners.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier in the cast, it's just been this map is so big that you can really have those 4 players on that anchor site, and you don't feel like you're on top of each other. Unlike that top floor, where I think we've seen Syracuse struggle with that more passive playstyle that they like to do, where they have a couple of anchors or mostly anchors even, and on that top floor they get punished, but down here they really can take advantage of the angles. You can really have a strong defense. Chemical going to be playing into that dirt again, and I think they're going to be more cognizant of somebody behind those servers this time. Probably going to get a good drone out. Cal going to be playing above him, it looks like, and pressuring down onto that hatch potentially. But Ohio State here, kind of playing a little bit more slow than they did last time. It does look like that Legion is behind those servers again. But with a minute already gone in the round, it is still Syracuse kind of holding strong here. They haven't really got any advantage. Eating away that time is for sure an advantage. Going to be protected by the Jaeger, though, is the Legion. And Cal's going to get this thermite onto this top hatch and is going to really open up and force potentially that Legion away. Jaeger is going to push up those back stairs, though, and it looks like One Daddy is cognizant of that. So he's going to be watching that peak and kind of protecting Cal and himself. Ubi looks like he's going to trade a little bit of damage on to Chachi, but he's also going to get a little bit of damage taken from the Maestro. And, they know that he is on those stairs. Ubi getting a really good angle here, knows that there's somebody over by those elevators from those shots, and SA on the stairs. Sorry about the difficulties there. We are back now, thus. Value got 2 very strong picks while we were having a little bit of problems there, but now it is a 4-on-2 for Ohio State. And, most of that Syracuse lineup is pretty dinged up, but still, with 20 seconds left, Ohio State's going to have to force the issue here back onto this site and see if they can get anything done. But it's really going to be a struggle here for Cal and One Daddy. Cal is going to drop, and he's going to look for the Legion, and is going to find him. Going to push into this A-bomb site with the Legion on him. He's got to plant it soon, and they know they're going to get killed by Value, and going to get those last 2 kills actually on One Daddy as well. And overall, a relatively clean round from Syracuse through a couple hiccups.
Yeah, and nothing surprising there. The round started off in Syracuse favor, and it continued that way. So Not going to see anything come out for Ohio State there, and just not as strong of a map it looks like for them.
Yeah, those two sites that Syracuse has defended successfully are very strong, or at least they've attempted to defend it successfully. The bottom bomb site is a very defender-focused site, and it really allows you to play safe. And the archive site as well, even with that mirror ban on that archive site, which really makes that sometimes, it allows Syracuse to play a little bit more passively.
Yeah, and just, gonna see a switch on to Capitao here, of course. Gonna switch actually over to Bucks. So kind of interesting here. They're gonna take the soft breacher. They're gonna be along with Montaigne, so nothing too surprising, but gonna be an interesting new push here.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like Syracuse once again pushing their luck on this upstairs bomb set. I would have much rather preferred to maybe even see them try open area with the problems that they've had on this upper bomb site. I mean, Ohio State has just kind of systematically picked them apart up here. And it's really been the strongest point for Ohio State's defense, or offensive attack. I'm sorry. They really have just kind of taken advantage.
Sorry about the vocal crashes. We're just having a few issues with our sound setup, but of course, we're going to try and keep it going. We'll of course keep the spectator going, even if we cut out sound a few times.
But yeah, like I was saying, Ohio State has really been able to. I mean, they've looked super strong on these offensive attacks on this upper side. So I'm not sure why Syracuse continues to pick it, but I mean, maybe they have something that they either don't want to play the open area side, or they just prefer to try this again and hope that they can maybe catch Ohio State. But they are. All right, we are back again. Sorry about that. Just having a couple of audio issues here on our end. So the game should be fine looking on your end, though. So we are going to see Ohio State again kind of pushing the same side on that top floor, opening up those two walls and really getting a lot of pressure here. Crab going to get a pick on the Chemical as Valence was lost earlier in the round. And like I said before, Syracuse has not looked very strong in this top floor, so I don't know why they continue to pick it, but maybe we will see something different from them this round. Ohio State playing this much more slowly than they have the other two rounds with 55 seconds left, but they have a bunch of information here with all these walls opened up. Ubi on the Montaigne is going to take a lot of attention from those two people playing in the supply room, and Ohio State's still going to be forced to push it here as they need to get the bomb down within these next 30 seconds. Cal's going to drop it for Ubi, and he's going to probably try to pressure them off of this supply room hold and make sure that they can get a safe plan here onto the A bomb site. SA gets a pick from below along with the Cal headshot onto Chachi, and that is really going to blow the round wide open here from Ohio State's side. Looking for those picks that they desperately need, and it's now going to be all up to the Legion from Syracuse. And like I said before, this Buck is so strong on this site, being able to really defend that site. Teacup is going to get a pick on the one daddy, and is going to down Cal, but still that Buck from below is going to offer so much utility here, and the Montaigne going to be able to play it super safe, just keeping the shield up. And Teacup is really going to have to play this round to perfection here to win it. Going to try to pressure the Monty off here, and is going to be kind of stonewalled as he runs around him. Going to get shot from below and trade a couple shots back onto the Buck, but with around 30 seconds left here on this bomb plant. Is going to be picked up by Gray, and Ohio State is going to even up the round count here 3-3. And a real another mess here from Syracuse on this top four defense. Continue to question why they take it, but Ohio State showing that they know how to execute on the second floor defense and that they are able to really pressure them Syracuse side off of that bomb site.
Yeah, and of course Ohio State did have difficulty pushing that site and another site early with that Montaigne, and that was actually what made them switch off. But of course, now they're able to make that push, played that very well, and a completely different story there. So gonna see their defense side now. It's going to be a little different, but at least they figured that out for that last round, tie it up, keep it equal going into the second half.
Yeah, and both sides have themselves set up pretty well here, honestly. I think the 3-3 scores is with how weak some of the other bomb sites can be on this map. I think that Syracuse did a pretty decent job of winning their two locker defenses and their archives defense, though I would have liked to see them in one of their other 3 rounds potentially try an open area defense. But we will get to see how Ohio State prefers to play this map. They will start off in that classic locker room CCTV area with a very classic setup, honestly. That Valkyrie and that Maestro with the smoke again on Cal. And a lot of plant denial here with that Echo band. And a good amount of roaming presence here, too, from the Vigil and potentially the Valkyrie or the Jaeger. And it looks like Syracuse is going to go with a pretty standard offensive setup here with that Capitao and that Twitch. And then the Thermite to blow open most likely that server's wall and allow them to plant inside with the Capitao smoke. But we will see. Syracuse was very successful at holding that dirt tunnel area and that servers area on their defenses of the site. So we will see if Ohio State can replicate that or if they can win this round here.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, and of course, going to see a pretty interesting setup here from Cal. He's kind of just sitting here with the smoke on anchor rather than kind of roaming and not able to cut off stairs yet. So
yeah,
here's the rotation on the stairs. This is what I was more expecting, able to hold this onto the A and B bomb sites and make sure they can't rotate in very easily.
Looks like, surprisingly, they're leaving. Okay, now one Eddie is going to reinforce one of those walls at least, and Cal's going to play most likely behind that reinforced wall as a more classic defense setup for this site when there is no Mira. But Ohio State gonna hold, and Syracuse playing looks like pretty safe here again. Already a minute gone in the round basically, and they have not kind of forced the issue yet into Ohio State's hand, but playing behind that reinforced wall and playing for the C4 throw and the smoke throws along with the Maestro damage is most likely how Ohio State's going to be forcing this issue. Shrimp going to be pushing here into cafeteria and does not know if he knows about the Vigil. Yes, he finds him. Not sure if he knew that he was there, but definitely gets the kill and sets Syracuse up in a strong advantage, taking out that one roam. They may or may not know that there is another room potentially, and I think that they do. He has been droned out now, and they're going to look to clear him off of that either by killing him or by making him rotate back to site and then allowing them to really open up this defense from Ohio State.
Yeah, and really not a strong enough roam presence there, of course. You hate to see your roamer going out early, especially Vigil, where he's supposed to be resistant to getting that. Of course, the pick coming in from Chemical is going to be important here. Equalize this and make sure that the round's possible to win. Another one coming in, and of course, he's got a good spot, but he's not reinforced, and that's going to cost him.
Yeah, huge couple of picks there by Chemical. Really just being a pain in the side for Syracuse, and he gets 2 huge kills on the Thatcher and on the IQ. That Thatcher is not going to be able to disable any of the deterrences that Ohio State has set up, and is really going to make Syracuse have to push into the strength of Ohio State. But with 40 seconds left, they're going to have to open up this wall and hopefully try to set up for this plant, whatever they want to do. Valkyrie is prepped and ready, and with 2 down from Ohio State, that was surely watching her cams, telling her when it's perfect to throw that C4 and get that kill. But looked like they are positioned here for a server's push again, a more classic setup. Cal still has at least 2 of his smokes, I believe, and burns another one there. But with 18 seconds left and that C4 from the Valkyrie and one more smoke left potentially, yeah, Syracuse is going to have to push into this smoke. Valkyrie gets a very offensive possession, and Teacup kills his own teammate, and Ohio State wins the round. 2 team kills there from Tickup, and
Yeah, just that burn coming out from Capital really did not help them out much, did it?
Ohio State being able to save a lot of their utility towards the end of that round really enabled them to kind of be strong.
Yeah, of course, going up the tellers, first floor, going to be kind of an interesting hold, so might see some different characters here.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to see that dot come in. Of course, just a great round from SA. He's starting to bring the round back for him, and of course, we saw some great stuff from Chemical. It seems like he's starting to wake up. Maybe he's more a defensive side player on bank, and going to see how that works out.
Ohio State really in that last round making Syracuse burn every last second there, not using any of the utility that Ohio State had left stored up. They were able to save all 3 smokes and the Valkyrie C4 until the last 45 seconds of the round and really forced Syracuse to push onto them. But Ohio State going to be going up to that Archives, like you said, and going to be playing another standard set of defense with the smoke and the Maestro. It looks like Syracuse is prepped for a pretty standard attack here with the Zofia and the Thatcher and the Thermite and the Habana. So a pretty standard setup. They're going to kind of use that buck again like Ohio State had done before and really bust open those soft flooring above them and maybe pressure Ohio State off a couple of angles in that site. So I'll be interested to see if they can utilize that buck to the real potential that Ohio State was able to use it on some of those sites.
Yeah, and I mean, we are going to see the Maestro come in. They're going to have the intel. You can see the Vigil. Of course, you be switching on to Anchor. He's going to take the Rook. So kind of an interesting switch. He's been pretty much roaming the entire game. So maybe able to surprise Syracuse a little bit. Maybe that's what they need.
Yeah. They're going to play in that main area, it looks like, or back on that A bomb site. But, yeah, Ohio State here. A couple of strong anchors with potentially Cal, Ubi, and One Daddy, all playing that anchor role with all the utility that they're going to bring to the table. Looks like Syracuse is going to push from that back parking lot side maybe into the open area as Shrimp is droned in by Tickup, and Crab is going to play on that top back skylight stair. So One Daddy aggressing up, opening up a little bit of those that wall into that kind of standard push in from that back parking lot area. But Shrimp is already in onto the open area site and is going to be putting down a little bit of pressure onto Ohio State.
Yeah, and you see that drone there from Teacup able to kind of clear it out. Of course, Cal gets it now, but really helping them out. But of course, Chemical's able to take that frag, that opening frag, and make sure they put them at an advantage. Yubi's going to go down to Shrimp.
Yeah, two important kills there on both sides there, honestly. Chemical getting the kill onto the Zofia, kind of potentially stifling that defense like we saw on Oregon, where not being able to utilize a lot of that Zofia utility that Syracuse brought, but also taking away an ACOG here, and Chemical not going to check for that Claymore and is going to get killed by Shrimp, and going to set themselves up for this push on the open area meeting office. And like I said, that ACOG down from Ubi is going to make Ohio State have to play a couple of sight lines here. SA looking for the buck above most likely, as he will more than likely try to pressure Ohio State as they push into the site. But with the wall already open and 1 minute and 15 seconds left, Syracuse has positioned themselves very strongly for this push. Shrimp going to get a pick onto One Daddy. And honestly, Syracuse looked very strong here on this offensive push, just holding their angles and kind of letting Ohio State walk into them as they've done. But 50 seconds left here. That wall is already open. Cal already having to burn out some of his smokes and going to be forced to save his last couple of smokes for when they really need him, or else this is going to be a free push for Syracuse.
Yeah, and of course, most of Syracuse is on that other floor. Now they're kind of rotating down in, so they do have a time constraint here, and they do all have to start getting there. Of course, their drones are really working out for them, distracting the SA and making sure that they're able to protect their angles. Going to make it really difficult for SA to retake this site.
Cal going to get a pick here on to Crab, and going to take out the Habana, but Tika going to get a free frag onto Cal, and it's now going to be all up to SA as he has rotated back on this side. They know he's going to be planting. He's going to get the pick on the planter, and he's not going to be able to pick up the kill on you. And had that kill come down for SA, that would have been a huge stall out with such limited time left. Actually, I might have been able to just throw out that round with where he was able to kill a diffuser, but a
Yeah, and
methodical
even a
approach.
rotation out there really would have saved them. I mean, he'd gotten rid of that diffuser. He could have protected that from the stairs really anywhere, but just, another player there ready to go.
Yeah, a methodical approach there from Syracuse, and we will see. As it looks like Ohio State is potentially
Yeah, potential kind of switch up here on the strategy, of course. Chemical's going to stick with the Jaeger, stick with the 3-speed, and, going to be kind of interesting, of course. Kind of interesting pick there. Going to take the Legion. Of course, got at least one roamer. Going to see what happens here.
Yeah. Ohio State is going to be going upstairs, and looks like they're going to try out that bump site that Syracuse had tried out earlier, and we'll see if they can find any more success on it than Syracuse had. Syracuse obviously went 0-3 on that site, and was really not able to kind of force the issue on that defensive side for them. But Ohio State seeing it that they might have a little bit of a different setup here. And yeah, honestly, that last round, Syracuse just playing methodical, kind of allowing Ohio State to run into their own deaths. And Ohio State had a couple of early picks, and they just kind of gave away the pressure back to Syracuse.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to see the dock come in. They definitely needed it last round. They had a lot of players go down. A lot of players go down pretty low in health, too. And definitely going to help them out quite a bit here.
Yeah, for sure. Ohio State setting up for pretty standard defense here on this side. It looks like I'll be interested to see how many rumors they have and how many people they decide to leave on site. I really think that was the downfall of some of the Syracuse defenses on this site.
Yeah, and I believe we had actually about the same setup from Syracuse last round, and this did result in a win for them. So they're only one on this site, so this could be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Gonna use that buck again to open up that floor beneath the site like they did on the opposite side last round. A really strong utility coming out of the buck, as a lot of these floors are soft and can kind of pressure people off angles they might be holding or just get picks on unsuspecting people. And it looks like Ohio State going with the 3 anchor setup in the double row. So I think probably the most optimal setup here on this site, honestly, for Ohio State. I'm interested to see that they don't have the Legion roaming, actually. Instead, they have him playing on site with the Doc and the Maestro. But probably just a preference thing. Chemical going to get a pick onto Value. And going to open up their own strong. Immediately going to get refrag onto SA. And they're going to be down that Doc, but also down that Buck for the Syracuse side. So going to really be forced to have to play around the walls that they can open up, as they're not going to be able to pressure as much onto the floor of Ohio State.
We are going to see the roamers come back in for Ohio State, going back to that strategy that worked for them originally, and see if they can make it work here again. Kind of slow push here, similar to what Ohio State was dealing with last round as well. They were having difficulties on attack, getting in quick enough, and so going to see probably another late round here from Syracuse.
Yeah, Chemical and Ubi still out in the room here, still taking up a lot of time here from that side of Ohio State. And Crab is going to push up these main stairs and going to leave a little bit of potential soft backside here for Syracuse, as Ubi can potentially get this roam up later in the round. A minute left here, and he has established himself in this front desk side. But, I mean, Ohio State going to be forced to kind of hold what they have as they get pressured off this backside side area. Legion going to push up and is going to get the kill onto Crab. And Cal really setting himself up in a strong position here, making sure that Habana cannot utilize that hole that she just opened, as Syracuse gets that back stairwell opened up with the thermite. Chemical going to be playing from below.
It's going to be a tough rotation, isn't it? I mean, he's not going to be able to get up those stairs to try and help out. So it's really going to come down to his teammates here.
Ubi going to get a pick onto the Thatcher. And now it's all going to be up to the Ash and the Thermite. One Daddy going to be playing that angle out of the stock room. And Cal is going to be playing that other angle in the front desk. But with how little time is left, Syracuse really just has to push in through the holes that they've made. And Cal's going to get the pick onto Chachi, and it's going to be all up to the Thermite. But he's not going to be able to get the plant down. Oh, he actually is going to be able to get the plant down. He's got to stick it down. Ohio State's going to pressure him. And they're going to force him to either cancel the plant or be picked off. And it is going to be the kill for Cal. And honestly, Syracuse just playing that round a little too slow. I mean, I like the way that they've been playing with the more methodical approach on the offensive attack, but that round just a little bit too slow and resulted in them kind of not being able to pressure the advantages that they had.
Yeah, and I mean, he had to stick that plant there where there wasn't another option, and so with Ohio State knew that, they just held back and came in for the kill, and it worked out for him winning the round. So
yeah, Ohio State for sure being much more successful than Syracuse was on that top four defense. I like the double roam that they had with the Jaeger and the Vigil. And even though they lost one of their anchors early, they were able to exert enough pressure with those roamers to make sure that Syracuse couldn't pressure any of the advantages that they had. Ohio State will be going back down to the basement again. And I'll be interested to see if they can replicate the success that they had earlier on. Going to run a similar setup here. Going to go with the Mute now instead of that Legion.
yeah, and I mean, some of those really interesting operators have kind of been a little weird. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of use out of Legion, haven't seen a lot of use out of some of the other operators. So it's going to be interesting to see, if both teams start deciding that they want to switch off of operators, that put stuff down and work with operators that are maybe faster, maybe better at roaming. So
yeah, for sure. Interested to see how that Dokkaebi can really be utilized here instead of the IQ, as they've swapped that out now on this second attempt on the attack for Syracuse. Overall, though, pretty standard attack for Syracuse on this basement site. That Thatcher, Thermite, and Habana are really going to be instrumental to opening up the site and the hatches so that Syracuse can pressure Ohio State. Looks like Ubi is going for either an aggressive camp or peek here onto this back lone office area, as him and Chemical potentially will be roaming. And looks like Cal, SA, and One Daddy will be playing on site.
This is really the first time we haven't seen Ohio State roaming that over there on the east side. So, and of course, coincidentally, we see that they're going to attack from there. So kind of an interesting setup here. And it's going to be interesting whether Ohio State can retake once they realize that Syracuse might come in there.
Yeah, Syracuse really taking advantage of the pressure that they've been kind of granted from Ohio State. I mean, they're going to push in, like you said, on the east side into the open area and into that back stairwell side, along with the dirt tunnel push from the Dokkaebi and the Capitao. And honestly, they are playing a little bit slower here. The top hatch is open, and Crab is going to get the camp in that back stairwell area. Shrimp already getting a little bit of damage here onto Valkyrie. So, realistically, nothing really gained here from Syracuse, but still a methodical approach, slow approach here. A minute already gone in the round, and they're going to have Valued hop into that open area window again. The Dokkaebi and the Capitao already have pressure here in this server side. So, honestly, with a minute and 30 seconds left, and them already being able to pressure this server side from the Syracuse team, they're going to set themselves up in a nice advantage. Going to give the call and going to let them know about any rumors that potentially are out there for the Ohio State side. And Syracuse now just really has to rotate that Thermite downstairs so you can open up that wall as Sabana pressures off some of the hatches. But they're kind of letting their advantage slip away here now as they're finally going to open up that Thermite onto the wall. But actually not yet. And a little bit more time wasted there, honestly. I mean, a minute left, and Ohio State still has a bunch of utility left to deny this plant. And going to be looking to see how they can fully utilize it or how Syracuse can potentially bait it out so that they can pressure their positional advantage here.
Yeah, really, Chemical playing this top side here could really turn out well for them. Of course, they can just look down in and check this hatch whenever they need to. So kind of a strong position here from Jaeger. Going to be interesting to see if Syracuse is able to counter it, able to get onto site.
Yeah, as the time winds down here, Syracuse is really going to have to be forced to focus a lot of their attention onto this site, and now Chemical in a very advantageous position, going to get a huge pick onto Tickup. And now with those Capitao smokes down, it's going to make that plant very, very difficult, even though it was already difficult with the smokes and the C4 from the Valkyrie. 10 seconds left here in the round. Going to get a pick from Gray, and Chemical is going to get another kill on to Shrimp, and more than likely that is going to be the round. And that is the round. SA gets the final kill onto the planting Thermite, and honestly, the Syracuse side just kind of wasting the advantages that they had there, and really gave Ohio State the time to rotate around those roamers and force the advantages that they had set themselves up for. That Thermite not being able to pressure that wall soon enough, and then giving Chemical, like you said, that time to kind of pressure his roaming advantage.
Yeah, and I mean, that attack, it almost did go well. They almost had it going well for them, but then the roamers really shut them down, and Chemical's positioning was just perfect. He knew exactly when they were going to be clear, and he had the call out from his teammate getting that rotation. Really just great defense on there by Ohio State.
Ohio State going to retry this Archives defense again. They almost had it, honestly, by some heroics from SA on that last attempt here, denying that plant and then getting picked off by the Thermite through the Thermite hole. But, 6-4 match point here for Ohio State. And honestly, it's been a very back and forth sided affair here overall, but Ohio State eking out 2 extra rounds here. And you really got to think, if you're on that Syracuse side, what position you potentially could have been had you not taken those 3 losses on that upper bomb site.
Yeah, and on match point, they're going to take it to Teller's office on that first floor, a site that they've done pretty well with. And so we're going to see a pretty similar defense probably, although we are seeing the Ella come out. So that's going to be a little different, maybe cover some entrances. With that, get the intel if the charisma goes off. But going to be kind of interesting how they defend this with the Ella and with a little bit of a familiar round now against Syracuse. Probably a familiar attack.
Ohio State, really did have a pretty advantageous position they had set themselves up in the last time they played Archives. But they just kind of over-aggressed a couple of times, and the slower kind of play style that Syracuse has exhibited here on this map and overall in this match has just kind of lended themselves to getting the frags onto Ohio State and really ended themselves up with the win in that round on this last hold. But Ohio State going pretty standard here, other than the L, like you pointed out. But Syracuse here going again, instead of the Dokkaebi, they're going with the IQ, but pretty standard setup here otherwise. Asked for a little bit more fragging potential, and that Thatcher Thermite Habana combo to kind of pressure them off. Surprised, honestly, they didn't take the buck, as it really was a pivotal point for them in that last round. They were able to pressure Ohio State from above or from below on both sides of the floor that they've used, and kind of make Ohio State uncomfortable in the positions that they were in.
Yeah, and you see the triple push here on the bottom floor from Syracuse, but really kind of interesting. I mean, they have the IQ, and Ohio State has 4 characters which have electronics, so could really let the advantage go towards Syracuse side here with that choosing that IQ and making sure that they know where every electronic is.
Yeah. So minute gone in the round, and they've already kind of full cleared with that triple push, like you said, on that bottom floor. So kind of going to be able to pinch off those couple entrances that there are to that bottom floor and make sure that there's nobody really roaming below them. Ubi here in cafeteria, along with Chemical and open area, going to be making sure that nobody from Syracuse can pressure them, but is going to get a pick off by Shrimp on those server room stairs. And just a really good angle there, honestly, by Shrimp, just being a little patient and then just getting the pick onto Ubi, who's being a little bit over aggressive. Going to rotate over to this main stairways hall and going to maybe potentially pressure this wall, or they're going to pressure this open area. And Cal going to get picked off as he was rotating back into position. And Syracuse setting themselves up in a very strong point here with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the round, as they look to pressure their advantage and potentially open up that meeting room in the open area.
Yeah, and a lot of Legion traps coming out here, but of course Legion is gone, so the intel's not going to be as helpful. And of course, just a great round here from Shrimp, and going to see kind of his teammates struggling still. I mean, getting hit. Sad's pretty low right now, and really kind of slow push on the other side.
Cal going to get 2 huge frags here, and SA potentially positioned for a third, as he's even up this round. Really set Ohio State up in a very strong position here with 35 seconds left. One Daddy going to get the pick onto Shrimp, and Ohio State really turning this around on the back of Cal. Really, those 2 frags by him even up this round and really set Ohio State up in an advantageous position. One Daddy barely not going to see that Thatcher head, and he is going to see him now. But Teacup is going to get the kill on SA. Even up this round, Ohio State, you got to think, just got to play passive. I mean, they've got the advantage here. One Daddy knows he's going to be getting pressure here, going to get the kill onto Valiant, and going to know somebody's pushing through that as Cal gets the kill with the smoke after One Daddy tagged him. And that is going to be the map and the match for Ohio State. A solid 2-0. couple of shaky points from both sides, honestly, but Ohio State holding true and getting that 2-0 victory.
Yeah, and I mean, great stats coming out there from Cal and SA. SA really woke up halfway through that first map and, was able to show up here. Got 11 kills on the second map, played really well. Saw a little bit of a different attack and maybe some things that Ohio State can improve on for next match, but really just overall played very well on both maps.
Yeah, and a very strong performance, honestly, out of Teacup. Was really, honestly, it was the reason that Ohio State won a couple of those rounds. Or, I'm sorry, Syracuse won a couple of those rounds. But, overall, a good series. And I think a solid match there from Ohio State, and they will take it in this week 3 of CR6. And we will look to see you next week, I think.
Yep, next Friday. And of course, if this is your first time tuning in, we'd like to encourage you, of course, to follow. Make sure you catch our next streams. Of course, we have League of Legends streams and R6 streams most weeks, and sometimes we throw in Rocket League. So thanks for watching.
Yeah. So for the casters, me, Grifter, and
me, Currency.
We will see you next time.
Hey, you make me feel